Hello, everybody. Reggie time here to do some extra time with Simon. We're not going to mess around. We got straight into it. So we messed around at the start of the last video. So if you want to listen to the intro from the last video, if you haven't seen the last one and then you're looking at this one first, go back and see the last video with Simon. Then you'll catch the intro and you'll see what we've been discussing. Because we're going to continue those discussions on this video, and I'll be referring to stuff that's already been said in the previous video, and then it might not make sense to you. So go back and look at that. Oh yeah, hit like and everything, you bastards, and comment and shit. Simon never comments on my videos. You might click like, I don't know, but he never comments. The fucker. But yeah, anyways, I swore twice in the first 30 seconds, so algorithm will like that, so never mind. Right, Simon, let's crack on, mate. Let's have a look at this
No
one.
problems. Okay. Okay, so we're open, obviously. Yeah, very small 3-bet.
Right, do we think this is misclick, or do we think this is villain who looks like a reg being shit?
I think the latter.
But he hasn't got a
He's not
full
playing
stack
full
either, has he?
stack. No.
Right, I'm going to pause a minute because I want to see who this fucking villain is.
Yeah.
Confirmed, I haven't got a fucking clue who this player is. He's got stats that look all right, 22-16, blah, 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 you know, this. But then he's got a shit stack size, he's been 3-bet. So yeah, we're just presuming shite, aren't we?
Yeah.
It is awkward, though. Because
I never know what to do here, whether to
no, it's
go
awkward
up the
because
top or...
you can't look at a range chat or like a solve chat and be like, what size do we go here? Because his size isn't a fucking thing.
Mm.
So do we just go to what a normal 4-bet size would be here? Do we just go to like 21 bigs, 19, 20, 21 bigs? Which is obviously a huge overraise. It's going to be like 4x his thing, which is big. Typically, like when we're 4-bet in that position, 2.5x is enough. But I don't want to just go 2.5x here because it's too fucking small. But so do we just ignore the fact he's made a shit size and just make it 20, 21, 19, 20, 21? Do we stick with the right where we're at a position we want a 2.5x and just make this like fucking 11 or 12 blinds? I hate the thought of that. I hate the thought of making this 11 or 12. Don't know though. Genuinely don't know. Don't have a clue.
Well,
I vary on these sort of things.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty certain I don't even 4-bet here, which is just not good. I think, yeah, I'm not quite. Going back to, well, yeah, I don't really know, but I think I'd probably just call here, which is not good.
Right. Well, before we look at what you did, why on earth do you think you only just called here?
Because I think I remember the hand, but I don't know why I would. I think it comes back to this confidence
not
thing.
good enough. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we not? Why are we deciding a hand that even if he'd made this a normal size 3-bet to €2 is a
Yeah.
mandatory 4-bet, even though it's not mandatory. Sometimes it calls, so that's not true. But it's often, you know, it's a very high frequency 4-bet with the occasional bit of flatting. Why do you think? It sounds to me like you're just going to be like pure flatting this. What would you have done
No, I
if
wouldn't.
you'd made?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be pure flat. Definitely not pure flatting. But I think I just I don't know. For some reason, yeah, I don't know. Because of the size of why he's, you know, his size there is just, I think throws you a little bit. But I don't know. I no idea. I think that it is a little bit about a lack of confidence. Again, going back to that. But I still, yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the play of just calling. I absolutely hate it.
I mean, I wouldn't if he'd made a normal size here against this stack depth. Just say he'd made it €2. Against this stack depth, I'd have no objection to just fucking ripping it. Right, whatever, mate. Fucking rip it.
Yeah.
Because these players so often here they'll just have pocket sevens, pocket eights, pocket fives, like you know, like Jack 10 suited, all that stuff that's got like reasonable equity against us that we could just put right in the bin with a 4-bet rip. It's something I don't do enough of. Like out of position ace king, you know, like I think 4-bet ripping's probably in the micro stakes the easiest way to play it. Because like we really need to fuck around having like 4-bet non-all-in sizes with hands that kind of just want to see all 5 or make them fold. I don't know. If you'd have just ripped here, I think ripping is better than calling. Put it that way. I think like just calling is really quite bad. Um, I wouldn't hate just ripping here actually. We're in a high rake environment. There's 8 blinds in the pot. Rip and take it down pre's a result. Rip and get it in against the pocket pair. We don't really care. Rip and get it in against worse. Fucking brilliant. I mean, we've all seen these guys. Well, you maybe don't because you don't play as much, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if we rip it here and he calls with King Jack of Hearts or whatever. Like whatever, and then we get it in like a 70% favourite. I'd rather rip over a bigger bet over a bigger 3-bet. Probably we can't rip over this, but the problem is when we 4-bet to say €4 here, which is just 20 bigs, he's going to peel a lot, we're going to miss the flop a lot, and then it's just going to, like, now what? Which can be really frustrating, and it really is confidence sapping. And when you're already low on confidence, this sort of thing just fucking absolutely saps it. It's not just saps at your confidence, it saps at your love of the game, it saps at your enthusiasm. Like, you sit down to play an hour and a half or so a night, maybe 4 nights a week, and then you get this shit happening, you 4-bet, they call, it comes down 9 high, and you got to check fold. And if this is like in the first 5 minutes of your session, you're just like, oh, here we go again. And bang, you're snapping a negative mindset immediately. For the rest of your session, you're in a negative mindset. And not only that, you play for pleasure and you're not enjoying yourself. Rip the head off it, 4-bet, and then just shut your eyes and see bet flops. Probably, what am I going to say? I'm going to say 4-bet, not all in, to like €4. I think my second best option is just fucking rip it in now and not give a fuck, and the third best option is just call.
Yeah, agreed. And I think I'd take the worst option. Should we click it on?
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Fanny. What a fanny. An absolute fanny. Talk about fannies. I'm not going to out him on here, but if you ever want a little giggle, ask Ryan Waller02 Waller about hairy fannies, will you? Because there's a funny story behind it. But I shall tell you. No, I'll ask him about it. And if you forget, I'll mention it to you. But I'm not outing him, but it's fucking the story is fucking very funny. Probably not for YouTube though. Anyways, let's crack on. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Although now the pot's too small.
Yeah. We check. He bets.
So what are we thinking here? Are we thinking we have the best hand? Are we thinking we don't have the best hand? Are we thinking we have the best hand strong enough to raise? We have the best hand, but it's not strong enough to raise because we'll be over repping our hand. What are we thinking?
I think we're okay. I think we've got a good hand. He can have pocket queens here. He can have pocket aces. He can do that min shit 3-bet with those hands definitely. I don't think I'd be raising here necessarily, but you probably can, can't you?
Well, I think it's interesting because we shouldn't ever have ace king here. So normally we shouldn't be raising because we don't have ace king. Yeah. And we probably don't have threes very often because we're probably just like open folding them pre. Maybe we're not always. Queen's 4-bets pre. Ace is 4-bets pre. Ace queen, maybe that just calls. Even versus the shitty small bet because maybe that doesn't want to reopen the betting. And this fella could have. He could have. I know you mentioned he could have like ace and queens. He could also have ace jack and ace 10.
Yeah.
He could also have air. I think overall we probably just want to call here because I think like if we raise, we start like forcing him to have like stronger hands to continue with. So I think as played, I like just call, but I think it's. I don't think raising's out of the question, but I think just call's probably the better line.
Yeah.
Keep any of his shitty bluffs in as well. If he's randomly fucking 3-bet 7-8 suited pre, keep that in and what have you.
Yeah. That's what I do. I choose to call. Get a 10. We check.
So he's sticking with his half pot line. Well, there's nothing else we can do here. We have no choice. It's literally pure call, 100%. There's nothing we. And Sue's trying to fold, too weak to raise. Just call, nothing else to say. I'm not trying to rush through the hand, but there literally is no option here other than call.
Yeah, we call. And then the queen and the flushes and all that sort of stuff. So
first question here, and this is me asking myself a theoretical question, I guess. Do we ever have any blocks here? Because we have more Queen X than villain does. For certain, we have more Queen X than villain does. In terms of flushes, do we have more than him? Ace, what of clubs could he have?
Maybe Ace Jack, maybe.
Ace Jack of clubs. Like, there's Queen and the 10 are out there. We've got the King of clubs. So he's either got the Ace Jack of clubs, Ace 9 of clubs. Does that mean 3-bet? Ace 8 of clubs, Ace 7 of clubs. Jack, what of clubs? Jack 9 of clubs. Is that 3-bet? Probably not. Jack King of clubs he can't have. So I don't think he's got very many flushes either. So therefore, I think this is going to check through a decent amount. So basically, what happens here, like when we check, he checks quite often. When we check and he bets, we probably have to call, but lose quite a bit to whatever random nonsense he's got that's improved. I think maybe we have a block here. I think this board's changed enough that we can just have leads here. Could be wrong, but I think we could maybe have some leads here. Just to let him check him. We don't want him checking back Ace Jack here, for example.
No.
We don't want him checking back if he's somehow got a 10 that he randomly bet on the turn. He might call a block bet with that. If he's got pocket kings, he might play this way and then check back river. I think I favour block here, like just 1/3 pot block. He's never going to raise this without a better hand. Just literally never. Or like so rare that you can almost call it never. Yeah, I think block's a line here.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I'm not going to be doing that here, but that thought has not probably even entered my mind at this stage.
Do you think though, now after what we spoke about today, we're going to try and hopefully you're going to try and force yourself into thinking more about like when boards change, who does it favour? Do you think maybe then, because this board favours us now, in my opinion, not massively, but I think it does favour us.
Yes, I agree. I do agree.
So I think when the board changes, it just favours us. I think then we have the option to bet, and I think most of the time we probably should. I think block bet's the best line here.
Okay. We check. And he bets.
Yeah, we can never fall to this. I mean, he's saying he's got a full house. I mean, we block full houses quite significantly. He's saying he's got a flush. So he's like min 3-bet clubs pre-flop. Might have done that. He might have some flushes. He's saying he's got a queen, but does a queen really c-bet flop and follow through on the turn? Ace high. So I doubt he's got queen X. Unless it's quads. Yeah, we can't fold to this. We just have to call.
This may be the first CUNT of the day.
Yeah, there's just no folding here, I'm afraid.
Not in my world.
Yeah, that's quite cuntish. That is quite cuntish. Means he's gone half pot on the river. We need 25% equity to call, and his line doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of like where his value is coming from. We might just beat value there, for example. You know, when we can beat value, we can't fold to half pot. I know you're like a big Eastie watcher. He's got his attitude to half pot. He just never folds to them. He just literally never folds to half pot. And I think I've got quite a lot of sympathy with that position. I think probably reasonable. We only need 25% equity to call. We can't go around folding top pair, top kicker versus half pot on the river when villain isn't really telling a particularly believable line.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying he's got a full house or he's got a flush, and we block full houses. We block flushes. We block queen X with our like king and our ace. We block ace queen. We block king queen.
It's just a butcher
Yeah.
of a hand, isn't it? Really, it's just
Yeah, every single
from everything is
well,
just
no,
not
flop and
good.
turn. I think as played are probably fine.
Yeah.
Flops, sorry, pre-flop, fuck off, cunt. Flop, whatever you played it the way you played it. So you turn was just mandatory called nothing you can do. And river, yeah, we don't want to be getting in the habit of paying off in these games, but we've got top pair, top kicker, and villains taking a line that is pure fish.
Yeah.
So there can just be nonsense in there. Who knows what that nonsense is? We don't have to figure out what that. We don't have to be able to put him on a hand. We don't have to be like, oh, I think this guy's got fucking King 10 here. He's turning King 10 into a bluff with a club. You know, if you wanted to be far ass as that, you could be like, yeah, I think if he's got King 10 offsuit with the King of Clubs, he might bluff here. You could do
Which
all
he
that. Or
couldn't have anyway because we had the King of Clubs,
yeah,
didn't
but
we?
you don't have to get into that depth of fucking analysis. You can be like, right, well, okay,
Yeah.
I'm close to top of range, and I'm getting 25%. I only need 25% equity to call, so I just fucking call, and I get on with the rest of the session.
Yeah.
And when he turns up here with ace queen, pocket queens, pocket aces, whatever, doesn't matter. Just get on with it. Just
No,
make the
agreed.
call you have to
Yeah.
make and move on.
I can. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure what to do there, and yeah, it's a call. It's a call.
And again, that's just another hand that screams of somebody that's like absolutely shot to pieces confidence wise. Because there's just not the no 4-bet pre is just like a massive red flashing light of someone who's just trying to control variance a little bit and just trying to control their potentials or potential losses.
Yeah.
That just looks like all you're doing there is just trying to avoid variance. And the
No,
thing
I
is,
think
the
that's
problem
fair.
is,
I think that's fair.
if you take lines to try and avoid variance, more often than not, you're taking a lower EV line. So therefore, you're taking a lower EV line. Therefore, your win rate is theoretically going to be lower, and the lower our win rate, the higher our variance is. So it might short term, it might prevent you from the pain of a bit of variance. But if you're always taking these like lower EV lines to reduce variance, long term you're just increasing your variance because your win rate's going to be lower. So therefore your variance is going to be higher.
Yeah. No.
So you need to
Yeah.
jolt yourself out of that mindset.
No. That's good.
And if
Yeah.
it's a money thing, if it's a bankroll thing, just play lower. If it's
Oh,
not a
it's not
money,
that.
if it's
No,
not a money
it's
thing,
not.
then just fucking play properly.
No. It's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Just
Right.
you just
Next hand, you big
terrible.
cunt. Oh, we've got a purple tag. What does that mean?
It's just someone I know.
All right, okay. Hi, Ryan.
I might not be. It might be you. No, it's not you.
Oh, hang on. Let me look at the stats. Is it Ryan? Yeah, it's Ryan. Hello, mate. Right, let's have a look. Let's watch. Well, you just said before we started chatting that you're sick of him putting you in the bin. So let's
Yeah.
see how we put you in the bin this time.
I wonder if he does. Yeah, I'm sure he probably does.
Put on a limp.
So
I had this conversation with Owen yesterday about these types of hands, and we dug Equilab out. It was fucking hell. It was a massive throwback, and I think now that like if we're in the big, the conversation I had with Owen was he was in the big blind and like one hand he had a good hand, one hand he had like a less good. I think one was ace queen suited and one was king queen off in a similar spot where there'd been a limper, and he was in the big blind and he ISO'd both of them, and I was like I think I'd ISO the suited hand and I wouldn't ISO the offsuit hand, and then we ran like how much equity king queen off had multi-way pre-flop like 3 ways, and I think it come out at about 40%. And my argument was when we're out of position, do we really want to be isolating a shitty offsuit hand that only has like around 40% equity right now? Like, is our equity strong enough that we want to isolate this hand? And I think I come down on the side of it's probably not. And I think this is probably the same case here, where is our hand strong enough to isolate? Maybe not, but it's slightly different because we actually can isolate here. We benefit from knocking villain 12, Ryan, out of the pot. So maybe from the small blind, I like this ISO. What if it was a big blind? And what if like button had limped, small blind had completed? What would you do with King Jack then if we were big blind?
similar, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's like something I've gone to and fro from in these games now for 15 months or more. Like how wide to raise out of the big blind versus limps. And I think it'll come down on offsuit stuff doesn't do very well.
Yeah.
Suited stuff does far better because not only does it it's not like king queen suited and king queen off, for example. There's like what 5% equity difference between the two in terms of like raw equity. But king queen suited just gives you so much more playability down the streets, gives you so many more opportunities to remain aggressive. That I think it just gives you more ways to win the pot post flop. Whereas king queen off, like if the flop comes down and you got king queen off and it comes down 8-4 deuce, you haven't got anything. You've got nothing. You haven't got any backdoors or anything. Whereas if it comes down 8-4 due to one of your suit, you've at least got some backdoors to start encouraging you to be aggressive. And I think those things matter because like on an 8-4 deuce, when you've got a flush draw, turn comes like a 10, gives you a flush draw, or a jack or an ace or something gives you a flush draw. It just encourages you to continue being aggressive and like try to like capitalise on some fold equity where the offsuit ones don't. We end up just check folding too often post flop. So I actually think I don't know if I saw this. I think maybe I would because we're in the small blind. But I think from the big blind I wouldn't. So I know anyone who watched the Owen video is going to be watching this now and be like, right, we've heard this already, Reg. So I'm not going to take it any further than that. But yeah, I think here from this position, ISO to try and get the reg to fold. From the big blind, I think just wrap the table and C3.
Okay. He votes.
Oh, we're not even against Ryan.
Nah,
shame. Never mind. Never mind. Right, okay. So this is already interesting because we've ISO'd a limp and we flopped second pair on a board that's exceptionally good for our range and probably exceptionally bad for villain's range. So, with all that in mind, how should we proceed here?
I think we should be c-betting here.
Agreed. What size should we be c-betting?
On the maybe third to a half.
See, I think, and again, this comes with a great big fucking asterisk. I think we should big bet here,
Okay.
because the balls are so good for our range. That I think we can just get away with just betting large with our range. It's so bad for villain's range. We just get away with betting large. Imagine we didn't have a pair here. Imagine we just had Queen 10 of hearts or what have you. You know, we were quite happy with getting folds. And again, that in theory, I could be fucking way off here. Although you can't solve this spot because bottom's limped. But I think here we just want to have big bets only. I think it's just such a good board for our age, such a bad board for villain's range. Now I know, like we can also, because it's such a good board for our age, we can get away with just betting really small. But I think in general here, I prefer to just bet larger, personally, and that's a personal preference thing. That could be very wrong in theory, but who knows what theory is when button's limp called. So I personally prefer bigger, but I'm not saying that with any degree of confidence. It's just a preference of mine.
Okay. We go.
By the way, that's not to say I would bet big with our hand here. I meant my range. I would prefer to bet big.
Yes.
I might not even bet this hand.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to bet this hand. I think we can just check this hand and comfortably call. So I don't think I would even bet here. And I get why you've range bet, and I don't hate it. But I think I would have a sizing structure here where I'm just using bigger bets, and I wouldn't want to use a big bet with this particular hand. So I would just check this particular hand.
Okay. We get a call.
We really can't bet this turn because we're basically saying that we've got ace X. Maybe we're trying to say we've got a set, etc. What we don't have very often is a flush.
Yeah.
Because we don't. What do we ISO pre-flop here? King, Queen of clubs, King, Jack of clubs. We don't have many flushes here. 10 of clubs is out there. So basically, our only flushes here are going to be King, Jack, and King, Queen of clubs. That of hands that ISO'd pre. So I think we just have a pure range check here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a possibility for a second CUNT of the day. I don't know, but let's see what happens. Oh dear, there it is.
Yeah, we just don't have flushes here. The problem is, like, if you were like thinking about your own range here, you literally have 3 flushes.
Mm-hmm.
and you have a lot of ace king, you have a lot of ace queen, you have a lot of aces and kings, all these things that, yeah, maybe they want to bet a little bit, but when we bet this turn for this size, we're kind of saying, I've got a flush, mate, I've got a straight and I've got a flush.
Yeah.
And we don't have either of those things, but we do have a hand that can still check call. If we get raised here, it's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Where we can just comfortably check call. I mean, what are we trying to achieve here, by the way? Are we trying to make what? Are you trying to get value? Are you trying to like make him fold a better hand? When you make this bet, what are you? What's the purpose of the bet? What are you hoping this bet achieves?
Good question. Really good question. I'm thinking I've got some equity here as well. I've got the jack of clubs. Got second pair. I'm not sure really. I agree with you now. It's a check.
But to go old
See that?
school, like when we're betting, even though people like to redefine like lots of reasons for doing things these days and use different fucking phrases and reinvent the wheel, primarily we're either value betting or we're bluffing.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're just betting because we think we've got a decent chunk of equity. It's not always a value bet, but normally we're value betting or bluffing. This is, I don't know what this one is. You know, are you betting for value? Are you bluffing? I genuinely don't know. And if you can't, when you're making a bet, if you can't be like, I'm betting here because I'm trying to bluff or I'm betting here for value, if you can't define your bet as one or the other, quite often you probably shouldn't bet.
Okay.
So before you like look at this spot, you should be thinking, right, okay, if I bet here, am I bluffing? If you're like, no, I'm not bluffing because I've got showdown value, I'm a value betting. Well, maybe I'm value betting against, maybe I can just get called by a hand like Queen 10 here. Maybe you can get called by a hand like, not Queen Jack's nuts, isn't it? Maybe Jack 10 can call. So, if you just said I'm thin value betting against Queen 10, Jack 10, Reg, and what have you, I'd have been like, it's a bit thin, but at least you've done it for a reason. When I ask you why you're betting, you say good question, and then don't really come up with a good reason. It tells me you're not asking yourself the questions before you click a button, which you should
Yeah.
be. You've just
Yeah.
been like, okay, chair, flush draw, gut shot, bet, here, put money in the pot.
Yeah.
It's sloppy. And this is why your red line's probably tanking, because you're probably doing too much of this sloppy shit. Pots are just getting a little bit too big for your hand strength too often, and then at some point you ended up folding. So I think Pete Clark put a video out last week where he said like a lot of red line goes because you just don't get out of a hand early enough, or you end up like putting too much money in a pot and then folding at some point. And this is a classic example of that. An absolute classic example of that leak, where this is just an absolute super clean. I mean, the flop's probably a check. When we bet and he calls on the flop, this turn is just like such a clean check, and you haven't taken it. And this is probably where your red line's going to a certain extent.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. So he does just raise here.
Yeah, and we have to call. There's nothing we
Yeah.
can do.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
dear.
he's min raised us. We've
Yeah.
got a draw to a straight. We've got a draw to a flush.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's classic. That's where your red line's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, it's just you not thinking. It's clearly, you're just doing things without really hand reading and thinking. Right, okay, who's got a range advantage here? What should I be doing in my range here? My range here is like aces. It's kings. It's ace king. It's one of three potential flushes we can have. We can have some straights here too. We can have four straights with all the different jack queen suiteds. And then you decide to randomly bet second pair. Yeah, it's just not good, fella. But you know that. But it's like,
Yes.
how do we stop this fucking happening? Because this is why you're not winning for stuff
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is like, how are you going to stop this happening? How are you going to stop this really rubbish autopilot?
Yes. That's what I need to do.
No, how? It's a question.
How?
It's not a statement, fella. It's how are you going to stop it? Because this autopilot is happening all the time. And like for the last few times we've done these reviews, you've been like, yeah, no, I shouldn't do this. Yeah. How are we going to stop ourselves making all these sloppy mistakes? Because if you keep doing it, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
You're better than that because you know you shouldn't be doing it. So what are you going to next time you play? How are you going to approach the session to try and cut out a lot of this shite? What are you going to do differently?
Hmm.
I think I know what the answer is, but you won't like it.
Cut down the tables, I assume you're
Yes.
going to say. Yeah,
Cut down
yeah,
the
yeah,
tables and actually fucking pay attention
yeah.
and
Okay.
actually
All right.
think.
Yeah, no, I'll do that.
And don't give me bullshit about I get bored and start looking at my phone. But quite simply, just put your phone away
yeah, yeah.
so you can't
No,
look at it.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do
And
that.
maybe have a little bit of fucking relaxing music on in the background so your mind doesn't get completely bored. Do something. I get that if you're just two tabling or three tabling. I think you play four, don't you?
4 or 5. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I'd say just try three, but try really concentrating. Make sure you're hitting all your fucking frequencies for a start. That'll help. That'll help you stop getting as bored.
yeah.
Maybe have a range chart open when you're playing and be like, right, I'm checking my range chart every single fucking time to make sure I'm not missing any mandatory opens. I don't care if people think that's unethical. It's not. If you're using like actual real time assistance to like right every time you make an action, you're then clicking it in a fucking browser to tell you what to do. That's fucking cheating. Having a couple of race charts open, you and 8 million other people do that. And just fucking focus on playing well. Fuck volume. When you're playing as badly as you are, you don't want volume because all you're doing is you're increasing the amount you're losing
Yeah,
per hour. You know, your focus right now is get back to the player you used to be because you used to be decent. You used to like win decent money on. You used to win on Sky, and if you used to win on Sky, there's fucking no reason. There's no way you're losing here because this is softer than Sky.
yeah.
So there's the only reason you're not winning is because you're not applying yourself correctly. So
Yeah,
cut
I
down
agree with that.
tables and maximum fucking focus on the hands that you are involved in.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
no,
I'm bored of this sloppy shit now, and I'm going to keep talking to you for as long as you want to keep talking. Because I'm not bored of you. I'm just bored of watching you produce really fucking mediocre poker when you can do so much better.
yeah.
I haven't been anywhere near tough enough with you. I've been too because I know like you're such a fucking nice placid bloke. It feels like you're shouting at a fucking spaniel, you know. It's fucking not nice, but you deserve a bollocking because you're playing shite.
Yeah, I agree. No, no. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, and because I
I
care
can't argue
about
with
you,
that.
you're getting the tough love. I'm afraid
No, that's fine.
you're getting the tough love, and this is not good enough. And next week, if we continue doing sloppy shit, and I think next week, I think we'll have you send me your hands on a Monday, and I'll pick out the ones. I'll have a bit of a nosy around, and I'll try and pick the ones that I can bollock you the fucking most. But next week we're gonna have a tough love session.
Okay. I look forward
Right.
to that.
Let's look at the next one, sir.
Okay. Pocket jacks. Right. Oh, you limp.
Nice.
Wondering if this is potentially the same guy from last hand, but I'm not sure. But
No, it's got to be. It's the same table, so the villain
yeah,
15's the guy from the last hand.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting flop.
Yeah. So check. Bet.
Right. This guy donks 50% over a small sample.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking I'm gonna because of the board texture, I'm not in a rush to build a fucking huge pot here. I think I would have bet small on the flop. I think I'd be mixing between bet small and check. I wouldn't be having any big bets. I think versus this donk, and because he's so shit, I think I'm just going to want to raise now because even though initially if it checked to me, I wasn't in a rush to start piling loads of money in. Once a fish donks, I think they're going to be a lot of 9x etc. here. So if he's got a lot of 9x, I'm not as worried about draws coming in. I'm not as worried about 10-8. I'm not as worried about spades, etc. Because I think this guy is going to be quite mergy with his donking. It's going to be a lot of 7x, a lot of 9x, etc. So I'm less concerned about draws. Now, maybe he's donking draws too, and maybe I just don't understand what his donking raise looks like. But usually when fish donk in these spots, it's because they've got like a made hand already. They're
Mhm.
not donking draws anywhere near as much as they're donking made hands. So I think because that's going to be my read on this guy's donk, and it could be off, but because that's the read I'm going to have without any more information, I'm actually going to want a raise now. I don't care about villain 13. If he's got me beat, good for him.
Yeah.
But I think I actually want to have a raise because I want villain 15 to continue with his 9x, or to continue with his 7x, etc. Which will. If he's just in there randomly donking out 7x, he's probably not folding. Donking a 9, he's never folding. So I think I like raise, and I think I like raise to, because he's bet small, probably 4x, something like 160, I think.
Okay. Shall we see what I do?
Yep. I like it.
He calls.
Yep. And we don't mind that. We don't want to see black ones anymore. That's what we don't
no.
want to see.
We're all coming along for the ride.
Sorry if I sounded all fucking Farage there. I didn't mean to. That sounded fucking terrible. Enoch Powell Reg popping out there. Fucking, there might be rivers of blood if the river is a spade. There will be rivers of blood, won't there? Right, okay. I guess we'll hope this just is going to go check to us, and then we decide what to do.
He just polls again.
Okay.
He calls.
All right.
No
Well, 6-5's improved. Villain 15, we just have to have him beat all the time here, don't we? We might be losing to Villain 13, but I think Villain 15, if he's got a better hand than Jack's here, I'd be surprised. I just don't think he has. So I think genuinely here, I think I'm just all in. Because I think like we might be losing to Villain 13, but Villain 15 can very easily call us off here with many, many worse hands. Because he's a fish. He can call off with 9x, he can call off with flush draws, he can call off with straight draws. If he has got a hand like 10-8, then we've got good blockers to his outs. I think I like all in here. Because, we might lose here to Villain 13. There's a reasonable chance we do lose to Villain 13. But I think there's a good chance Villain 15 pays us off. So we lose another 2 to Villain 13, but maybe we win 16 from Villain 15. So I think I'm just all in here. I'm just going to not mess around. There's lots of money. There's 13 in the pot. We've only got 18 left. Villain 15 seems pretty fucking capped. And if he's trapping us, if he just have a better hand, then good for him. I'm all in.
I don't know what I do here. I just hope I don't fold. I just call.
Not terrible. I'm not saying that's terrible for a second, but the problem is we're just allowing Villain 15 to realise, and if we might just end up where we miss value from Villain 15, and then the river's a bad card that we can't bet on again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good card though.
Yeah. He checks.
So what do you think we should do now?
I think it should all go in.
I think we should be putting a lot of money in this pot.
Yeah.
We might still lose to Villain 13, but we almost never lose to Villain 15, and lots of draws have missed. He's stuck around. Yeah, I'm just all in.
Yeah, I hope that's what I do, but I don't know. With the way I've been playing, who knows? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, well, that's pretty great.
I mean, we have showdown value, so it's not terrible. But I just think there's just so much value to be had from Villain 15 here. And we might lose to 13 and beat 15.
Yeah. And
now, so we weren't getting it. 15, we weren't getting any more money from.
Yeah.
Maybe on the turn we are. Maybe not. I think he probably folds that on the turn. But exactly, we read the hand right in terms of that. He's never got a good hand.
Yeah.
And then let's see what Villain 13 opens up. Well played,
so,
sir.
Yeah, that's it.
Very, very well played, sir. Just think you're so very, very lucky that he didn't have more money.
That's it. Yeah.
That's how I'd be looking at that one. But I think maybe if we raise the flop, it's going to be not great because we raised the flop. Villain 13's clearly not going anywhere, and then maybe Villain 8, Villain 15 just gets out of the way, but probably not. Open end, the backdoor flush draw. Yeah, I'm actually quite like pleased with, and I know this isn't about me, but I'm quite pleased with my read there, the flop. Although it wasn't. In fact, no, my read was off on the flop, wasn't it? The turn read was right, but on the flop, I was saying I don't think he's going to have draws very often, when actually that's exactly what he fucking had.
Yeah.
Interesting hand. But yeah, I think raise a turn.
Yeah.
And then definitely Jam River. As it happens, Villain
Yeah.
15's not calling.
Not calling,
But
but
Jam
yeah,
River.
yeah, we've got a jam there, haven't we? Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
you know,
I wanted to see a jam there.
but you got showdown badge, so I understand why you didn't.
It didn't surprise me that I
But
didn't.
Villain 15's so capped there. Jax has to be the best hand against him. Because he's just so capped.
Yeah, yeah.
Next one, Squire.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice one.
Presuming
I
this is a limp
can't remember
pot.
why I picked it now, but it's one I picked.
Yeah, it's just a limp pot.
Flick through until something interesting happens. I might have picked a Duff here. Yeah, nothing interesting.
That's
I
pot.
Have to call. I'm looking at his aggression stats. Just call.
Yeah.
I think I picked.
Which is what we
do.
do.
I think I've let us down. River trips. Right. Check. Bet. Yeah, I know. I remember why I checked this now, because I was wondering why we just called on the river with trips, but he did polarize the river. He did bet full pot. But he has limped the button. And can we raise? That was my question when I just saw it in in Poker Tracker, was why have we just called the river? And now I'm thinking probably because he's potted it, but he's a 48-22. He's aggro. Yeah, I think I still like raise here, because I think we have to. In fact, no, I think it's just pure raise.
Yeah.
Queen X can call. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's a raise. I mean, he's got Jack 8, but
yeah, he's got nothing.
Nothing.
But I think it has to be a raise, because what can he really have? He needs to have limped to 3 on the button, and then the case 3s need to have come. He needs to have checked back a set on the flop. Unlikely. Yeah, can he have ace 5? Yeah, probably. Can he have 6-5? Yeah, probably. But he's going to have a lot of Queen X. He's going to have stuff like that he's got that's not fucking good. Maybe now and again he limps even better than maybe he limps kings or aces and just that couldn't get away. And people who are watching this, like, what you talk about, Reg, but you play these games, you'll understand that's a fucking thing. People just open limp aces and kings on the button trapping. Open limp ace queen, open limp king queen, and just open play it. Yeah, I think this probably has to be a raise. I'm looking at his stack depth. I think if we're a lot deeper, I don't know how I feel about raise. But at this stack depth, I think I'd just be like, yeah, I'm all in, mate. Just try a monkey rep like a miss flush. As it happens, it wouldn't have changed anything in a folded this hand. But I think when we hit backdoor trips against a fish, we need to be check raising the river. If we're not going to be check raising the river, we may as well just lead out, I think. Somewhat like I've heard a few people say that if you can check raise a river, it's okay to check. But if you can't check raise, you should probably bet. And I think if we're not going to check raise this river, we should probably just bet, because our hand's too strong to just bluff catch with.
Okay.
And we don't want him checking back a 4 or something like that, or a queen. So I guess to think about going forward. And when you're on the river, and you river a good hand like this, like our hand's gone up significantly from turn to river, you think to yourself, like, am I going to check raise? And if the answer is no, then usually lean towards betting. Because our hand's too strong to just check call with.
No, that's fair.
Right. I think there's one more, is there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there might be. Yeah.
Oh, that's not Ryan this time.
No.
It's someone else you know. Could that be Reg?
Well, this one maybe.
Could that be Reg?
Should we pause?
I'm looking at no, it can't be me, because them aggression stats are way off for me. If that's me, then that goes to show how ridiculous sample sizes can be. Yeah, let's pause and have a look.
Tell me when you're good.
Oh, yeah, shit, it's me that's got to pause. I was waiting for you to fucking pause. So it turns out this player is me. Villain 20 is Reg. So I hope this is hands against me, because that'll make it very interesting. But yeah, that was aggression. As I said to Simon when we were paused, those aggression stats are not, over my huge sample, are not my aggression stats. Now I'm aware that I've been playing not my A game lately on this particular site, which is why I'm not playing it at the minute, because my mental game on this site isn't where it should be. But Simon can't use those stats and be like, yeah, that's what this player is, because that isn't who I am. But Simon should already know that. But I imagine that it'll be quite confusing when you see those stats. Like, hang on, this is Reg, and he's a fucking nit, but he's not typically that passive post flop. But over the sample, I'm a fucking joke. I'm an absolute fucking stain, an absolute stain. Pathetic, and not only just a stain, a little bit on the stationary side too. Fucking awful. My stats look pure shit rigged there. Absolute. I mean, I'm opening 30% from fucking middle position. My brace versus stats are shit. Everything about me there is fucking shite.
That's
Wow.
pleased me, that is.
Absolute dog shit. Everything about that is dog shit. And I've called you out enough. I can't not call myself out, can I? That is fucking awful. Wow, my game has slipped so far on that site. Seeing that has made me realise just how far. Because when I look at my stats, when I've been back playing some speed poker this week, even though I banned myself, I got round my curfew by creating an account on a different website that's got a party poker skin. Because my curfew was my bounty was, if you catch It's Reggie or Reggie Time playing on party poker or Triple Eight, I give you 200 quid. Well, you're not going to do that because I've created a BWin account that's basically party poker, but it's BWin. I've got myself a lovely, juicy 70% points boost because it's a new account, and I'm playing there. And I know my stats there; they're looking good in terms of like my race first in numbers, this, that, and the other. They look nothing like that. So that shows just how far my mental game has slipped on this site to be playing that shit. And that's why this. And again, I don't really talk about me very much, but this really validates my decision to always have speed poker in my mix of games, because this is what happens. I've been slagging you off for being sloppy and shit. Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think
And
so,
look
yeah.
at what I've done. That is sloppy and that is shit. And it's no surprise my results over the last 3 weeks on that site have been fucking awful. Because if that's the sort of fucking play and producing there, then I don't deserve to fucking win. I deserve to lose. So that's just short. I knew my mental game had slipped there. I actually posted on Discord saying that I had quite a big mental game crash there. And so I knew it had, but I didn't realise it had slipped that far. So I'm glad I've seen that, because that is absolute shite. Anyways, that's enough self-admonishment, or if that's the correct word. But yeah, it's only fair. If I'm calling you out, I've got to call myself out when I see how shit that is. Because that's classic shit, Rick, that. No positional awareness whatsoever. Same ranges, all the seats. Fucking no aggression post-flop. Fucking pathetic. Grow up, Reg. Anyway, I think I'm done now.
Good. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
I think I've got that off my chest, mate. To be fair, I'm harsher on myself than I am on you, to be fair, aren't I?
Yeah.
But that might be what you're getting next week. If you bring more shit to me, that you might be getting that level of fucking venom next week.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so getting open here. A call. You fuck off. So
Mandatory squeeze. Mandatory.
yeah, mandatory squeeze. Size wise, like 3.5, 350, something
Well,
like
here's
that.
the thing. I've looked at this lately. When we're squeezing and we're out of position to both players, we need to go bigger. But if we're squeezing button versus small blind, we go smaller, which is an anomaly that I've noticed in GTO Wizards. So just say button opens
Yeah.
and small blind flats. If button just opened on its own to 2.5x, we would 3-bet from the small blind to, we would 3-bet from the big blind to 12.5x or 30. Whereas if button open to small blind calls, we actually downsize our squeeze to just 11. Not entirely sure why. Probably because we've got a narrower range for squeezing there than we do for when we're 3-betting just from the big blind. I guess we're quite polarized. But when we're squeezing from the small blind, our range is so narrower. So maybe that's why, because we've got fewer hands in, we go smaller. I don't know why, but I know it's a thing. In theory, we go smaller with our squeezes when there's a small blind flat. But when there's in this situation where say it's cut off and button, we actually go bigger. So our size here should be, and it's a 3x, not a 2, because if this was 2.5x and call, our squeeze size would be 15, but it's 3x and call, so I'd probably 16.
Okay.
16 bigs. So what's that? €3.20. Oh, look at that! He's fucking nailed it. Love to see it.
Blimey.
Now we know the big baldy knit fucker's folding in the big blind there. His entire range there is like jam and fold, so we know he's fucking off.
We're gonna call and a fold. Yeah, and now I'm like really unsure
I
how to proceed.
instinctively, and again going back to the errors I'm making when I review my hands, sizing errors. I think this is going to be a bet of very high frequency. It's pretty dry flop. We've got backdoor flush. We've got backdoor thingy, backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, dry flop, etc., etc. And again, I could be making it's definitely a bet in my opinion. I would personally here, I would just bet really small. I'd be like 20% pot, but I could be fucking absolutely way off. I could be way off. But yeah, it's instinctively, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is like a line check for me as well as for you. We're going to put this into the wizard. Because this is like a good drill for me to do. I'm trying really hard to like my 3-bet pots out of position because it's without question the area where I'm making the most mistakes, and it's not even fucking close. So you've got hijack open here. We're gonna have to make the button call because he won't let you call from the cutoff. So I have to make it a button call, not a cutoff call. And then we're in the small blind. We should have raised to 14 versus 2.5x. So yeah. 16 is going to be fine. Hijack calls, button folds, and then the flop is
6 of clubs, queen of diamonds, 8 of spades.
We are checking here 79%, so I'm way off with my frequencies here. I thought this on such a dry flop would be a range bet. It's not even close to a fucking range bet. Ace Jack of clubs specifically. Is checking 91%. When it does bet, it's betting 6% of the time. So I'm way off here. I'm way off. That's why I wanted to check because this is the area of my game I'm trying to improve because I'm fucking rubbish, out of position in 3-bet pots. On board textures, I'm rubbish with my frequencies. I'm rubbish with my sizes. I'm just absolute fucking garbage. And this is just another example of that. Fuck me, I'm giving myself a bollocking on this hand, aren't I? Glad you brought it, though. I'm glad you brought it, because, you know, I presumed, I know I'd be 20% in here. And technically, 6.6% of the time, that's probably going to be okay, even though it wants to go 1/3. It doesn't have 20% here, it just has 1/3. But yeah, we should just be checking, fella. Let's see what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet.
And I imagine most regs who aren't that well studied, and I include you and I in that clearly, would do the same as you here. So I don't think this is a league versus population because they're doing it back. But obviously now we're actually looking at the spot. It's clearly not it's clearly like a very, very low frequency play.
Yeah. And he calls.
So we went 1/3. Let's just continue running this hand just for my own amusement. So we went 1/3. He calls. Turn is about to be
Jack of hearts.
Jack of hearts. Now I'm going to guess that we're just going to be pure checking this. But of course we're not pure checking this. We're now only checking 41% of the time apparently. Like I'd be like, oh, showdown value. Let's check. And it's like, nah. We're just going to bet half pot. Half of the time. 50% half pot here.
Yeah. You see, now I'm in your camp there in the sense that I see this as a check.
Shows how shit we all are, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, not just you and me. I mean, fucking so many of us. And this is why I'm just continually doing these fucking drills. And they're hard. And I'm getting shit scores on them. But and it's not nice. It's not fun. I did a load last night, and I'm actually sharing my GTO wizard with somebody now, and they're gonna look at some of the drills I've done. Like fucking average, 59%, fucking dribbler. It's hard. It's not nice doing it because you're trying your best, and you're like, I just don't fucking know. And I literally find myself getting frustrated with it. I almost tilt with it. So I'm like, fucking all right. I think this is this. Oh, bang! You got another red circle, Reg. You fucking fat idiot. Oh, Reg, there's another red triangle. And it's fucking hard. It's really hard. And it's even when I try and look to be like, right, okay, why am I getting these mistakes? And I look at the ranges of why it's doing and what it's doing, and I still don't understand. So it's not even like I'm looking at the mistakes I'm making, and I'm like, then I look at the study this spot and I figure out why I'm making the mistake. I just don't fucking know why all of a sudden why this particular board or that particular board is just so fucking different. It's really, really, really tough. But if it's something that we all get better at, or not we all, because then there's no edge in it, but if it's something that we get better at individually, I think it's somewhere where you can just get so much more edge on the field. Because not only if you start playing them better when you're the aggressor, you'll also find it easier to spot when your opponent's making like frequency errors or sizing errors, etc. But yeah, this is a big butchering from me in terms of how I would have played this, because I would have c-bet the flop when I shouldn't have, and now I've hit. I should be continuing to barrel, and I don't understand why we're barreling here. Because again, is it a bluff? Is it a value bet? I don't know why all of a sudden, mind you, hang on, range wants to bet 51%. What does that actual hand want to do? This is a mistake I make quite often. Actual hand, no. Ignore me. Actual hand is pure checking. Range is betting here 51%. So go back on that. Range here wants to bet 50. I guess that's because we've got aces, we've got fucking kings, we've got queens, we've probably got 10-9 suited, etc. So range wants to bet 51%, but our actual hand is checking 91. So again, I've done many times in my life, and it's cost me tens of thousands of pounds. I've shot my bolt too soon, sir. I've shot on the bollocking on this turn. I've shot my bolt too soon, and I should have checked our actual hand. Globally, our frequency here is 41% check, 51% bet. Our actual hand here is 91% check. And when we do bet, we do just use a half pot size.
Yeah.
So, okay, sorry, I'm turning this into a red show all of a sudden.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem. I see this as a check. I'm pretty certain I will check here, and I do. And then he bets this.
Did bet quarter pots. All right, so we check. We're going to put 1/3 ings. That's all it's letting us do. Ace Jack suited. So our exact hand is now 3-betting apparently. Fuck knows why. We're folding our hand 40% of the time. We're calling 21%, and apparently we're making it. We're making a small raise, 37%. Why? I do not fucking know, mate. I'm not even going to attempt to explain it because I have no fucking clue. Maybe because we're just like, maybe trying to get value from draws. Maybe we're trying to get value from like a Jack X stabbing. I don't fucking know. But yeah, fold 40%, call 21%, raise 37%. But with our exact hand of clubs, it's fold 56%, call 2%, raise 41%. So yeah, I don't know, mate. That's what we meant to do here. Mix between call and raise, apparently. Sorry, mix between fold and raise. I know you're going to call, probably, but that's the 2.2% option. We were mixing here between fold and raise. And I don't understand. I literally do. If someone, please, if someone clever has got to this point, and they probably haven't, because I wouldn't sit and watch this fucking shit for 2 hours. If someone clever's got to this point, basically, I'm looking at Swag, if you're ever out there, or Camel, if you're never out there. If I'm really desperate, Juicenberg, not you, Ryan. Yeah, if anyone really clever's out there, if they could tell me why this mixes between fold and raise and not fucking call, I'd be really, really, really delighted to have an explanation. So yeah, let's see what you're going to do. I hope you fold, because at least that's correct, and at least that's in there.
I think I do fold, and I think I do. Let's have a look. Yeah, I do. And one of the reasons for that, this guy's called a big 3-bet, a big 3-bet pre, isn't he? In my squeeze, he's called that big. He'd fold 73% of the time to 3-bets. He's called a flop bet Yeah, I just think I'm dead there.
Yeah, fair enough. And you've in theory world, you've made a fold that you meant to make. That's a 2-tick fold in theory world. You've made there. So you got 0 ticks on the flop.
Yeah.
You've got we got 2 ticks on the turn, 2 ticks. 2 ticks for the turn check, and 2 ticks for the turn fall. So you redeemed yourself far more than I fucking would have. And this entire last 10 or 15 minutes of this video has just been me realizing that even though I'm trying really, really hard to get better, and my results are showing that I am, in certain aspects, like on this particular site, I need to stay away from it for a bit because I'm clearly producing fucking awful stats and awful results. And my work out of position 3-bet pots has only just begun because I am fucking atrocious. The good news is, so is everybody else. So it's not like I'm losing loads to the field in that spot because everyone else. Well, not everyone else, but 95% of the field will be just as shit as I am. So it's not like I'm losing loads reciprocally. I think we'll leave it there, fella, because I'm all talked out now. We've done 2
Yeah, no,
hours.
that's it. That's everything done. All the
I've
hands
really
done.
enjoyed that, sir. So thank you very much. Don't you go anywhere. I'm just going to say goodbye in the video. Then I'm going to say goodbye to you. And then I've got a lot of hands that I don't know if you're sticking around. We won't record them, but I've got a lot of hands to review of my own. If you're doing nothing, you can stick around on the call with me. If you're busy, then fuck off. It doesn't matter. But we're not going to record them. We'll just do it privately.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Right, okay, so we'll say bye in the video. Take care, everybody. See you next time. And yeah, keep your eye open for all the other videos that are coming and hit like and shit. Take care and bye for now.